Hey everyone, today we are going to be doing what's called basic percent problems. In basic percent problems, we are going to be finding percents, parts, and wholes using some different methods. You can see in the first two examples, it says calculator allowed. So I'm actually going to use a calculator for some of these, and you guys are also allowed to use a calculator for these. It is important that you realize which ones you are allowed to use a calculator for and which ones you are not. And I will make that pretty obvious as we get started here. When we are finding the part, okay, so this first example is called finding the part. You are finding what percentage of a number is. Okay, that's the part. To find the part, you are going to find the percent as a decimal. So we're going to change the percent to a decimal and multiply by the whole. So you're going to be given a percent. The word of means multiply. So this word of right here means multiply. And you're going to multiply by the number that they give you. To change a percent to a decimal, that's the most important part of this problem, because if you don't change the percent to a decimal, your answer is not going to be correct. To change a percent to a decimal, move the decimal 2 places. To the left. This is something that we've been working on. Okay, so we want to move the decimal 2 places to the left. This is something that we've been working on for the last several days, but now it's extremely important that we are using the correct number and we are moving the decimal in the correct direction, the correct number of spaces. Because if we don't do any of those things, our part is not going to come out right. So for 15%, my decimal is going to be at the end. I'm going to move the decimal to the left 2 places. This is going to become 0.15. Of means to multiply, and I'm multiplying by the whole. This is the work that I'm expecting to see on this question before you use a calculator. If I see this, you can write equals and give me the answer using your calculator. So I'm going to go to my calculator and I'm going to type in 0.15 times 82, and I get 12.3. Okay, so if you show this work, you can type it in your calculator and give me the answer. 256% is a percent greater than 100. So when I want to change this into a decimal, my decimal's at the end of the number. I move it to the left 2 places. So it's 2.56 times 75. Again, if I show this work, I can type it into the calculator and give an answer. So I'm going to open my calculator. 2.56 times 75 is 192. It makes sense that the part would be 192 because the percent is bigger than 100%. So your part is going to be bigger than your whole. For the third one, we are going to be using a percent less than 1. So 0.5, move my decimal 2 places to the left, is going to be 0.005 times 50. I show this work, I can use a calculator. So .005 times 50 is 0.25. Number 4, we're back to just a regular percent. So not greater than 100, not less than 1, just a regular percent, somewhere between 1 and 100. So 76%, my decimal's at the end. I move it 2 places to the left. So 0.76 times 450. If I show this work, I'm allowed to use a calculator. 0.76 times 450 is 342. This is finding the part. You need to change the percent to a decimal and multiply by the other number. So the other number is the whole amount. You are finding the part. Percent as a decimal, move the decimal 2 places to the left, then multiply by the whole. In our next example, we're going to be finding the percent. Okay? To find the percent, we are going to do part divided by whole. And then you're going to multiply by 100. Remember that multiplying by 100, this right here, means to move the decimal to the right 2 places. Okay, so for this one, I'm doing part divided by whole. It's a different color. I'm going to do part divided by whole, and then I'm going to move the decimal to the right 2 places. Okay. So here it says 23 out of 80. So I'm going to do 23 divided by 80. Okay, so this is the work that I need to show. So just like my green above, this is the work that I need to show. 23 divided by 80 is 0.2875. And then I'm going to move my decimal 2 places to the right. Here's my decimal, 28.75%. And remember that your number is not a percent until you have the percent sign. So make sure that the percent sign is part of your answer. If you show this work right here, you may use a calculator. After you do your division, you're moving the decimal 2 places to the right. You can use your calculator for that, or you can show the jumps with the decimal. So for number 6, 35 out of 70 means 35 divided by 70. This is the work that I need to show. So here's my work. I'm going to put this in my calculator. 35 divided by 70 is 0.5. And then I'm going to move my decimal 2 places to the right. So here's my decimal, 1, 2. In my empty space, I'm going to put a 0. So this is 50%. These first 2 are written in words. Number 7 is written as a fraction. With number 7 written as a fraction, I'm still going to change this to 7 divided by 12. If I show this work, I may use a calculator. So I'm going to type in my calculator, 7 divided by 12. And I get 0.583 repeating. I don't need to write all of the 3's. Okay, so I'm going to stop it at 0.583. And then I'm going to move my decimal to the right 2 places. Again, you can put this in your calculator or you can show the jumps with the decimal. This is going to be 58.3%. Number 8, they tell us what the part is and they tell us what the whole is. Again, back to my directions up here, it says part divided by whole. So I'm going to do 42 divided by 200. If I show this, I may use my calculator. So I'm going to go to my calculator. 42 divided by 200 is 0.21. And then I'm going to either multiply by 100 or move my decimal 2 places. 21%. This is finding the percent. So remember that your answer needs to have a percent sign. Last one, we're going to find the whole. To find the whole, we're going to set up the percent proportion. So this one, we're going to set up 2 fractions. Percents are always out of 100. This is super important. We talked about this when we converted percents to fractions. Percents are always out of 100. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to find your percent. So in each one of these problems, I'm going to find the percent first, because I know what that goes on top of. And then it says 35 is, where it says 35 is, that's this is part up here. So 5 is, the part is. Here they tell us the part is 18. Here they tell us the part is 14. And the whole is going to be a blank space. So we're actually going to use a box to represent our whole. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the percent side of my percent proportion. So 35 is 7% of what number? I'm going to put 7 over 100 first to take care of my percent. My part is 35, and I'm going to put a box for my whole. Now I'm going to figure out, how did I get from 7 to 35? Well, to get from 7 to 35, I'm going to multiply by 5. So I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom. 100 times 5 is 500. So my whole is 500. That filled in box is going to be your answer. So it says 5 is 25% of what number? My first thing is going to be my percent. So 25 over 100 is equal to 5 is the is part of the part over whole. So 5 over and then my box. So now I'm going to figure out, how did I get from 25 to 5? To get from 25 to 5, I'm going to divide by 5. So for the bottom, I'm going to do 100 divided by 5. 100 divided by 5 is 20. And that filled in box is your answer. In the bottom two, they give you the part and they give you the percent. Again, we're going to set up our percent first. So 9 over 100 is equal to, my part is 18. So instead of telling me the is part, they tell me the word part. And my box on the bottom. To get from 9 to 18, I'm going to multiply by 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2 on the bottom. 100 times 2 is 200. Last one. 56% is going to be 56 over 100. My part is 14 and my empty box on the bottom. To get from 56 to 14, I'm going to divide by 4. So I'm going to do 100 divided by 4, and I get 25 in my box. Notice that we can scale forward and scale backward, and we are going to try and limit these values to ones that are in your chart or simple multiplication like 100 times 5, 100 times 2, etc. Okay? The division ones should typically be in your multiplication chart, so make sure you have that handy. Now we're going to spend some time working on these 3 objectives. Remember that the first 2, you may use your calculator. So if you're finding the part, or if you're finding the percent, you may use your calculator. It says calculator allowed, and I will make sure that I am specific about that. And then the last one, I did not use a calculator. So these are no calculator allowed. Okay, so on these last ones here, no calculator allowed. Because we know how to work with these things. Okay, we know how to work with two equal fractions and figure out what's missing. We are going to do some practice with these for homework. So good luck.